Okay, it has been a while. Hello. This is Leetcode number 20. This is an easy, and this is valid parentheses. So what this asks is, given a string containing just the characters closing, closing, opening, and then closing, opening, and then closing, opening of three different type of parentheses, determine if the input string is valid, right? This means open brackets are closed by the same type of close brackets. Okay. So as you can see over here, it'd be like this type, open, close, and then the same type, open, close, same type, open, close, right? And then open brackets must be closed in the correct order. Okay. And then every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. Correct. So this would be like this, same type, opening, close, right? So what this question is, in its essence, we're going to be using something called a stack. Stack equals this. And what this means is as this goes on, you have a list which we'll call stack. So what this will do is if there's as it looks at the first character, so say for example in our example right here, we have these types, right? So it'll first look at this index, which would be this, which would be this type, right? Let me make this a little bit bigger. So it'd be like, oh, can't draw. So it'll be like this, right? And it'll be like, so it'll look at this, and they'll go, and they'll look at this one, right? And then it'll add it there. And now what will happen is that it'll look that the stack will also look that at every element in the stack, right? So we're thinking like this element right here. What it's going to do is it's going to see if this is the closing bracket of the first one or the one before that or anything that's currently in here and that's currently active, right? And what it'll do is it'll look at it and it'll see if it is a corresponding type, which is one of our requirements. Must be the same type, and it'll look if it's a different one. It'll look through it through a list. So what it'll do is it'll look at this one, and it'll see, hey, this one is this one, and then is this equal to this? It'll look to see that. And what that will create is if the answer is true, you will delete these. So then you'll get a blank stack. The stack is now blank, right? So this is correct. So these brackets are correct, right? So it'll do this for this, it'll do it for this, it'll do it for this, it'll do it for this example. This one will equal in true. This is true, valid parentheses. And then it'll do it for this one, where you have this. All right, let me go a little bit over here. So it'll do it for this example, where you have this bracket and then this bracket. No, if I wanted to. This bracket, right? And these are two different brackets. And it'll see, hey, first looks at this one, it'll add it, and it'll look to see is this one same type? It's closing, but is it the same type? It'll look to see this one corresponds to this one. This one, sorry, this one corresponds to this, right? And this is not equal to this. This is not equal to this. So the answer would be no. So it won't append this, and it'll then look, and there's nothing else in this list, so this will be false. So this is the wrong example. So let's look into actually coding this. So before we do that, as you mentioned, we're going to be using some type of map to really map out the correct pairs that we have because we're looking at pairs of brackets, right? So we'll go, let's do character map is equal to, right? And we'll do the close brackets and we'll keep that. We'll go closing first and we'll go and then opening. Oops. And then opening, right? And then you have your space and then copy this. Go here, we'll go here, and last one will have that. And now we just change these to the according brackets. This one like this one like this, right? And then this is the other type, which is this, and then this, right? So this is what we have. And what our stack is is as you loop through any given case. So for example, you loop through this, you're gonna add it into a separate list called a stack. And what we're gonna do is basically pop or remove, right? We'll pop if pop means like removing everything that's currently inside, which I showed here, where it'll become empty. So how that works is you do for character, or we could just say for C in S, because we're given our string. What we're given our input is our string S. That's our total input, right? For C and S, if C as the one you're currently looping is in character map, meaning if it's a valid parenthesis in character map, if stack -1 equal to character map C. Now, what does this mean? Okay, this is the same idea we're talking about. If the current values in stack, so for this example, these first two would be these, right? If stack or stack -1 equal to character map, the character map value of that key C, right? So if you're looking at this, the character map value of stack equals to character map C, means character map of this, the value of that becomes this, okay? And if you look at and -1, stack -1, you get this value, right? And if you look at it, but the character map of C of this is this, right? So we're good. They equal each other, right? Then what you want to do is you want to remove these from the current stack.pop. Okay, and what the idea is as you loop through a given list, right? So you're given a list of, let's say, you're given your list of S. This is your input, right? You're given 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. And it's the same thing, right? So the same number is opening and closing, but the same number is equals. And what we need to find is if there's one pair of things that isn't there. This is like doing XOR, but like now you're doing it in pairs, right? What this does is it'll look through, is this value and this value and stack the same? It is. Knock them out, stack.pop. You remove them from the current stack, remove them from the current thing, and it'll loop through. So index 0, index 1, done. Index 2, index 3, right? Look at them, are the same? Out, stack.pop, remove them. Now you're looking at 3 and 4. You get 3, but is this 3? No, this is 4. These are not the same, right? So what you basically want to do is it'll be stack.pop for everything that's true. And if it's not true, it'll be this. And for valid parentheses, you would return false if you get this. Every stack would need to be empty at the end for it to be a valid parenthesis, right? And so this is stack.pop, but what is stack dot, right? So if, and what this also means, this is a return false, right? And what this means is as you loop through the whole thing, if you end up with 3 and 4, that means you have something there. That means that value of stack is not equal to the values where you can simply knock them off, stack.pop. So you can't do this, so you go else and you return your false, right? That means it's not about parentheses. And then if it is not in character.map, it means if it's not here, else C. And what this means is that for character in S, as of looping through S, if character is not in character map, right? If it's not in the map, you want to append C, right? If something is not there, you want to append it to the current stack, right? If it's like for example, if it's not a valid character, then you just append it, and then eventually it'll return false through here, right? And then what you want to do is return not stack, right? This means if there's nothing in the stack, then this will automatically return to true, right? But if there is something, then this will return to false, which will also be found here. That's the same thing, and just like a double instance. And if we submit this, this should runtime error for C and S. Oh, that is an issue on my part for C and S. And this should be the optimal solution. We go to submit. Let's see what we get. It is accepted.